This is macOS Ken.
iPhone shares up in a down market, the fine line walked by Foxconn, and all kinds of new software information. It is Wednesday, the 10th of May, 2023. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from macOS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. Go to hellofresh.com/MOK16 and use code MOK16 for 16 free meals plus free shipping. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSken. iPhone share of the U.S. smartphone market rose last quarter as shipments across the board declined. That is the latest from Counterpoint research. According to the firm, iPhone now controls just over half of the U.S. market. The share for Apple's communicator was 53% at the end of the March quarter, up from the 49% share enjoyed the same quarter a year earlier. Now the bad news. Smartphones as a whole were down 17% versus the same quarter a year earlier. That includes a drop in Apple's offerings. iPhone's market share growth came despite a year-on-year drop in its shipments, according to Counterpoint. Now, if you're wondering how Apple could have posted record revenue for the March quarter and still seen shipments decline, it's possible. Numbers last week from consumer intelligence research partners put the average selling price for iPhone at $988 last quarter, up from $882 in the March quarter of 22. The recent rise in ASP was driven by the popularity of the iPhone 14 Pro line, the lack of a new low-cost iPhone mini, and people opting for higher-priced, higher storage capacities. So it's possible the fewer people buying iPhones are spending more on the phones they're buying. Of course, Counterpoint may also be wrong about the number of iPhones dropping. We'll never know because Apple will never say. All of that said, that smartphone sales have declined seems to be a given to firms like Counterpoint. Research analyst Matthew Orff lays out reasons in the Counterpoint release, saying inflation started impacting the U.S. smartphone market in the second half of 2022, especially the low end, where consumers have less disposable income and are more sensitive to changes in prices. Persistent inflation and an uncertain economic outlook are causing consumers to hold off on new device purchases, resulting in lower upgrade rates and fewer device sales, especially in the prepaid segment. But the haves have, and they have to have new phones. Counterpoint senior analyst Maurice Klain is quoted as saying, while prepaid brands saw significant year-on-year declines in shipments, there were some silver linings. The gap between low-end and premium devices seems to be widening, creating a vacuum in the mid-range device category. Other analysts on the Counterpoint payroll see foldables and promotions from carriers as factors that might boost smartphone shipments in the States in 2023. We talk a lot here about Apple diversifying its supply chain, but have you ever considered the tightrope being walked by Foxconn? Two stories from Apple Insider cast that in sharp relief on Tuesday. The first had Foxconn buying huge tracts of land for new factories in India and Vietnam, while the second had the company assuring workers in China of Foxconn's devotion to them. On the new properties, Apple Insider cites a report from Agence France Presse that has Foxconn acquiring a 13 million square foot parcel of land in Devanahalli in India, located near the Bengaluru airport. One marvels at the grandeur. According to Apple Insider, Foxconn Han-Hai Technology India Mega Development was apparently paying $37 million for the site, which is said to be the equivalent of over 50 Manhattan City blocks. That sentence alone should be directed by Ridley Scott. As for the other land in the other land, Apple Insider says another Foxconn unit has picked up a 5.16 million square foot parcel in Vietnam. The piece does not say what that land would be used for exactly, though Foxconn is reportedly looking to Vietnam to produce iPhone components. Now, worry among people in China who draw paychecks from Foxconn would be understandable, and Foxconn's chairman seems to have addressed those worries. That second Apple Insider piece had Foxconn chairman Young Liu reassuring workers at an iPad factory in Chengdu that that plant is an important plant, even as Apple looks to plant plants elsewhere. Acknowledging the contribution of the facility and its workers, Liu was quoted by the South China Morning Post as saying, "All the products were made by you, and we should be grateful for that. We have no plans to exit Chengdu. I hope that Chengdu could become an important base in the western region of China to support high-tech industries and make more money for its people." Apple seeded new release candidates for upcoming operating systems to developers, as well as public testers in at least some cases. That's according to a few pieces from Mac Rumors. According to one report, Apple has made release candidates of iOS and iPadOS 16.5 available to developers and the public testing program. Meanwhile, the site ran other pieces saying that RCs of macOS Ventura 13.4, watchOS 9.5, and tvOS 16.5 had been seeded to developers. Whatever the case, everybody gets access soon. And we know because Apple said so. The Cupertino company issued a press release Tuesday announcing a new Pride Celebration wallpaper for iPhone, a new Pride Celebration face for Apple Watch, and a new Pride Edition sport band for the watch as well. These are all to celebrate the ongoing movement to protect and advance equality for LGBTQ+ communities around the world, according to the company. Well, that and make money, let's be honest. The strap will run the standard sport band price of $49. It'll be up for order on Apple's site and in the Apple Store app on Tuesday, the 23rd of May. It'll be available to buy in Apple stores beginning Wednesday, the 24th. As for the design, it looks like what had been rumored/spotted in code. A couple of weeks ago, Code Monkeys found a watch face and snippets of a band that featured what looked like rainbow sprinkles. While Apple's release doesn't reference the shapes, it does lay out the colors. Inspired by the strength and beauty of the LGBTQ+ community, the release says the new sport band design showcases the original Pride flag rainbow colors and 5 others. Black and brown symbolize Black and Latin communities, in addition to those who have passed away from or are living with HIV/AIDS, while light blue, pink, and white represent transgender and non-binary individuals. What, you may be wondering, has any of this to do with iOS updates? Apple's release says the new Pride Celebration watch face and wallpaper require watchOS 9.5 and iOS 16.5 respectively. It also says that the face and wallpaper will be out next week. Try as it might, Apple can't hide the shiny from the Code Monkeys. Back to Mac Rumors we go, where we find Twitter's Aaron P613 finding something new in Tuesday's macOS Ventura 13.4 release candidate. In a no-frills post on Twitter, the spelunker said, "Exclusive, macOS 13.4 RC hints at a new Beats headset with the model A2924. It will be called Beats Studio Pro." Then came a follow-up tweet with frills, images of the Beats Studio Pro. Based on the name, Mac Rumors figures the Beats Studio Pro will be a new version of the current Beats Studio 3 headphones. Should it come to pass, Beats Studio Pro will be the first new Beats-branded over-ear headphones since 2017. Time flies when Time flies. More news in a moment, but first a word from HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit and sponsor of today's show. I've told you before about some of the great meals I've made with HelloFresh. The tilapia with scallion sriracha pesto, the brown sugar bourbon pork chops, the goat cheese chicken with figgy balsamic. They were all delicious. But meals aren't all they have to offer. Yes, you can take your pick from 40 weekly recipes, but with HelloFresh, you can choose from over 100 items to pad out your pantry, from snacks and easy lunches to desserts and basic necessities. All in one box, delivered when you want. HelloFresh even has appetizers, snacks, and sides for your next gathering. So take it easy and impress your friends. But start with you. Go to HelloFresh.com/MOK16 and use code MOK16 for 16 free meals plus free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/MOK16 and use code MOK16 for 16 free meals. Don't miss this great offer on America's #1 meal kit. Get free shipping and 16 free meals with code MOK16 at HelloFresh.com/MOK16. New operating systems and assets weren't Apple's only software announcements on Tuesday. The Cupertino company issued a press release announcing the imminent arrival of Final Cut Pro and Logic Pro for iPad. According to the release, Final Cut Pro for iPad introduces a powerful set of tools for video creators to record, edit, finish, and share, all from one portable device. Logic Pro for iPad puts the power of professional music creation in the hands of the creator, no matter where they are, with a complete collection of sophisticated tools for songwriting, beat making, recording, editing, and mixing. As for what supports what, Apple's release says Final Cut Pro for iPad requires an M1 chip or later. Logic Pro for iPad will work on an iPad powered by an A12 Bionic chip or later. How will they stack up compared to versions for Mac? And how will established users adopt a multi-touch? Interested parties will find out soon enough. Both will land in the App Store in just under 2 weeks, hitting on Tuesday, the 23rd of May. And provided you've got the hardware, they are priced to move. The versions for iPad will be offered subscription only. Each title will run creatives $4.99 per month or $49 a year. Both come with a 1-month free trial for new subscribers. One Apple exec has hit the road. The Wall Street Journal says Mike Abbott, VP of the Cupertino company's cloud services, has taken a gig with General Motors. According to the Journal, Abbott will join GM later this month as Executive Vice President of Software, in charge of developing both in-vehicle features and enterprise solutions. He will report directly to GM Chief Executive Mary Barra. This is a newly formed software unit, according to the report. That makes one recent move by the automaker seem odd. According to the Journal, the hire follows GM's disclosure last month that it would no longer offer Apple CarPlay, an app that projects an iPhone-like interface on the car's touchscreen on some future models. GM said it would soon begin offering its own multimedia setup that would provide customers with more built-in functionality. So they make that announcement, kick Apple to the curb, then hire somebody to run it. On your mark, go, get set. That's not to say the move doesn't make sense on some level. The Journal says car makers are targeting billions of dollars in future revenue from offering more digital services and features in the car. But are they thinking I'm going to pay for 2 different music services? one for my car and one for everywhere else? Is GM going to try to bring its services to the rest of my life? Or will there be apps for my Apple services offered through the GM infotainment system? Whatever the plan, one of Apple's recent cloud minders will be near the top of it. And finally today, congrats to the good people behind Bad Sisters. Cult of Mac says the dark comedy from Apple TV Plus picked up 4 trophies at the 20th Annual Irish Film and Television Awards held last weekend. Honors went to Anne-Marie Duff, supporting actress, drama; Sharon Horgan, lead actress, drama; Dervla Walsh, director, drama; and best drama. So much drama. Would-be viewers can stream all the drama now. Season 1 of Bad Sisters is available on Apple TV+. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. Go to hellofresh.com/MOK16 and use code MOK16 for 16 free meals plus free shipping. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSken. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.